right, here we are, folks, live. Let me pick up the feeds here, see where we're at on Facebook, get everybody on, and LinkedIn. Looks like we're always a couple of seconds behind over there, so here we go. Make sure it's on mute. All right. Fantastic. Let me get this over here. Got everybody in one spot. And okay, here we go. Welcome. Corona Chronicles lockdown. This is day 96, folks, 96. I got here on March 17th. St. Patty's Day is when Nassau County went to lockdown. And it's been an adventure ever since. I really appreciate everybody that has been tuning in over the last, I believe it's 11 weeks. So thank you for that. And also all you folks watching in replay, I understand Saturday at 12 noon isn't exactly the most ideal time on earth to be tuning in. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So I appreciate everybody that tunes in. As always, you know, we're here because we're locked down, right? Corona Chronicles. So let me tell you what's going on locally here in Nassau County. In Nassau, we are, you know what? Let me tell you where Nassau County is first. So for those of you who don't know, Nassau County is the first county east of Queens, which is the easternmost borough of the city of New York. So as you know, the city of New York, hold on one second. Sorry about that. As you know, the city of New York has been the most hardest hit with coronavirus in the entire country. And Nassau County, we were a close second or third to Suffolk County. So we have about 1.36 million total residents in the county. And due to our proximity to Queens, we've also had some overflow. So right now, as of yesterday, you know, we get an update every day from our county legislator, which is really appreciated and really helps us feel secure that we're getting information from a trusted source, not a news source, which can have its slant. So here we are. As of yesterday, we only had 29 new cases in the whole county yesterday. 1.36 million residents and maybe some Queens overflow. Only 29 new cases diagnosed in the entire county. We only have 81 people in Nassau County hospitals that are COVID positive. I mean, this is amazingly, unbelievably positive news. I don't know the exact percentage, but I think we're 97% down from hospitalizations where we were at the peak. I mean, that's just amazing. Also, the percentage of our new cases. So we're doing tons more testing in the state. New York State, I believe this week has been doing almost 60,000 tests a day. The more tests we do, in some states, the more tests they do, the more positives they're getting. In New York, we're seeing the opposite effect. The percentage of new positives has been driving down less than 1%. I think one day this week I think it was Cuomo's last briefing. Yay. I think there were 59,000 tests, only like 540 positives. So less than 1%. Less than 1% of the tests right now going on in New York State are coming up positive. So that's amazingly positive news. We're in phase 2 in Nassau County. What phase 2 allows us to do is gather in groups of 10 or less, obviously still with masks and still distancing as appropriate. We've had barbershops open this week, as you can see. There you go. It took me 3 days to get in, but I got my cut on. I feel like a new man, got rid of all that hair. I hope you're all doing the same. And outdoor dining. Outdoor dining has been a big thing and a major boost for the local economies that we desperately need. My wife and I are doing what we can do to get out there and support our local favorites. We went down to Long Beach last weekend, and we had a beautiful outdoor dining experience at one of our local favorites, and we appreciate them and glad that they're there. And just last night, we went to one of our locals right here in Oceanside, Noble Kitchen and Cocktails, one of my favorites. And you know, they've been doing takeout all the way through, but if anybody knows anything about the restaurant industry, just takeout and no bar business, making it really, really difficult to even turn a profit. I mean, if you survive, being profitable without a bar business is kind of a challenge in the restaurant industry. So we went out last night, had a beautiful meal, had a couple of cocktails, saw some old faces and some old friends. Rob, the owner over there, great guy, love his food, always very personable. And we just wanted to let him know that we're out there to support. We're going to do everything we can to get our friends and family. They had a beautiful outdoor patio, tables are spaced, servers and busboys and everybody wearing a mask. So I felt very, very safe. And the food was unbelievable. I had a fresh cavatelli with a veal ossobuco ragu. Was unbelievable. So if you're local, even if you're not local, come on out to Oceanside, head over to Noble Kitchen and Cocktails, have a great meal. Let me say some hellos. Looks like we got a few folks. My brother, or our brother, you'll know why that's significant later. Brother J.R. Valasek is out there on LinkedIn. What's up, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Here we go on Facebook. Brother Javier Morales is always there. Appreciate you, man. Good day. Thanks for being out there. Seth Blau is always a mainstay. Seth, I hope you ran early, man, because it is definitely hot out there. Ben Cooper's out there. Dave Rosenbrock is out there, another Marine Corps brother. What's going on? Stephen Dagger, another one of the Oceanside family. Oh, my cousin Lawrence, past guest on Corona Chronicles. He's out there on LinkedIn saying that cavatelli is fantastic. Let me see if I can get that. Let's see if I could. There we go. Boom. Cavatelli, right on target. Fantastic. Thanks, Cousin Law. Cousin Anthony is out there also. All right, fantastic. So that's the hellos. Phase 2, almost over. We're about to head into phase 3, and I want to talk about this because this is a major milestone and a major change for Corona Chronicles. So I promised you in the beginning that I was going to stay on the air and I was going to continue. Oh, no, go this way. I was going to continue to do lockdown shows until we were all set free. And we're almost there, but not yet. So we're moving into phase 3 here in Nassau on Wednesday, June 24th. Coincidentally, that is also the 100th day of lockdown here. And until we get into phase 4, I don't consider us freed. So this is it, folks. This is the last Saturday 12 noon show. I can't do it anymore. I'm looking out the window. It's gorgeous out there. I want to get in the pool. I want to get out to the beach. I want to enjoy the outdoors where I can with my family and friends. So this Wednesday, 6 p.m., the new date, new time of Corona Chronicles, very special show. Day 100 lockdown is going to air. So please tune in then, or of course, always in replay. And I appreciate all you folks that jump in and replay. Oh, my brother Lawrence is out there, and my nephew Anthony are both out there on LinkedIn. And now we're talking about, is it gnocchi or cavatelli, which is better? I mean, we don't have to choose. We're on the pasta team. I take all kinds of pasta: gnocchi, cavatelli, rigatoni, ziti. I mean, I would do lasagna, ravioli, anything you want, stuffed shells. I'm on the pasta team. One team. Here we go. All right, so phase 3 is going to start on Wednesday. New show, 6 o'clock, 100, day 100 of the lockdown. What happens in phase 3? Here's what you can expect. Gatherings up to 25 people. That's a little bit of an improvement. Houses of worship open. Big one. Houses of worship will now be open. 25% capacity, still doing distancing. Each institution is going to manage that on their own, and we trust them to do that in a safe manner. But great to see that that Americans now get to go back and worship in their chosen faith in their original houses of worship. So fantastic. Restaurants, we just talked about that. Restaurants will now have indoor seating as of Wednesday, up to 50% capacity, making it a little better for them. So again, if you can get out and support, please do. They need you now more than ever. Nail salons and spas, ladies, go get those nasty nails done. No, I'm kidding. The toes. I bet I'm going to be on the beach today. I bet I'm going to see some nasty toes. Nail salons opening on Wednesday. Start making your appointments now. And outdoor sports due to begin on July 6th. There's some controversy around that. I'm not going to get too deep into it because my special guest today is so awesome. I don't want to take any time from him. But apparently they okayed field hockey, which is an outdoor sport, but they didn't okay lacrosse, which seems to be an extremely similar outdoor sport. Field hockey, they go down with the stick. Lacrosse, they go up with the stick. Seems like the same. We're a lacrosse and football family here, so we want lacrosse back. So please take that into consideration. Other milestone today, also day 96, but today's the summer solstice. So at 5:44 p.m. today, we welcome summer. Oh, we couldn't wait for you to get here. So happy for you to be here. And I believe, yeah, summer solstice. So that means, oh no, that means this is the longest day of the year. But then starting tomorrow, we're headed towards winter. No, I'm just kidding. We have the entire summer ahead of us. So please get out there and enjoy it. Let's see where we are. All right. Very good. Let me see. Anybody else tuned in? I want to say hello to Mary O'Donoghue's out there. Hey, Mary. Congrats to Brendan. I saw that your son was awarded a partial college scholarship from the Oceanside United Soccer Club. Fantastic. I know you've been a dedicated family to the club for many, many years with your husband. Also, I coached along with him. So fantastic. Peter's out there. Good morning, Peter. Hope everything's good for you. All right, here we go. Boom. Let's get into it. Father's Day tomorrow. Man, I think it's my favorite day of the year. It should be, right? I'm a proud father. Hey, Brian Downs is out there too. What's up, brother? So if you know me, and if you're tuning in, you must know me because nobody just comes to Corona Chronicles to check me out. You know, I'm a pretty passionate guy. And, you know, when you get passionate about something, no matter what it is, and you show your passion and you go at it with everything that you have, I'm going to respect that and I'm going to support that. I'm not going to agree with everything that everybody's passionate about, but this guest, man, I agree with what he's passionate about because he's passionate about being a dad. This man is he's really one of my longest friends. We served in the Marine Corps together. We were in Iwakuni, Japan together. I want to say 92, 93, maybe 94. So pretty long time ago. I've known him ever since, local boy here in Queens. We've gotten together over the years, and it's really been, having him has really been an enriching part of my life. So I appreciate that I still do have him. And Joe Lisi just tuned in. How you doing, Joe? Another great and powerful Marine Corps friend. So this guy is so passionate about being a dad, and he's younger than me, and his kids are younger than mine. And I really genuinely look up to him. I use him as something to strive for in the dad category. I mean, I just think he does amazing things with his kids, and he has an awesome story to tell. And I want to honor him on this Father's Day and bring him on here. And I know he doesn't want to be honored. He wants to just come and talk to me as his longtime friend. But I hope that you guys stay tuned in and listen to what he's got going on because he's got this dad thing figured out. And I really, really respect him. So without any further ado, I don't think there's anything else I could say about him without embarrassing him. So I will stop. And here is my good friend, Carl Gunnerson. Hey, brother.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Frank. Thank you very much for the kind words.
Welcome to Corona Chronicles, man. This is a long time coming. I'm so glad you agreed to hop on with me.
It's going to be fun. I have one question, though, before we get started.
Please.
I, too, am a supporter of all pastas. What do you put on the pasta, sauce or gravy?
Oh, no,
I don't want to start no trouble. I don't want to start no trouble.
That's going to start some big-time trouble, I'm sure. But on this show, it's sauce. We're open-minded to gravy, but to us, gravy is a little brown, and it goes on meat. All right. So last night, I guess I had a hybrid, right? Because I had the cavatelli with a veal osso buco. It was a ragu. So it's a brown sauce over a beef meat. So I don't know. Is ragu, is that a sauce? Is that a gravy? Let's see if a chef tunes in and tells us, gives us the
Look at you bringing people together as usual.
Listen, all pasta group, one team. I love it. So listen, brother, I mean, we've had these conversations a lot, and man, I just love what you do with your kids. It's just really, it's a model for folks to, and there they are, and that's even better. I hear them in the background now. I think though it's important for us to I want to help you tell a little bit of your background because it means much more to me knowing how hard you worked and how passionate you are about being a dad. And this is a trait that we really need in our society these days. People need to be passionate about being a dad. And if you will, please tell us an abridged version of your story. I know it's a long one, but tell us a story about, what's the journey? How did you get your kids and how were you, now with them and having amazing happiness? Talk to me.
Well, like a lot of dads or fathers or husbands, I went through a divorce. And so I had a bit of a wake-up call very early. My kids were very young. Mm-hmm. And as much as I wanted to be positive, a lot of the stuff is obviously very negative. So I actually went through a period of time where I had no access to them. It was about 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
And my son was just about 3. My daughter was about 10 months, somewhere like that. So I had just gotten into the whole thing. I got one just started walking and one on my lap, and then sadly everything kind of came unraveled at that point.
Right.
So putting that aside, I had a experience that made me very appreciative of time with my kids. And I know a lot of dads have gone through this. A lot of moms have gone through this. So the main thing that I can say that got me back to where I am now with my kids, where I pretty much have as much time with them as I want, they live in my house half the time, is that I didn't enter a combative situation with my former wife. Basically, while we were in court, my only argument was that I wanted half, right? Isn't that the great argument? I wanted to have my children 50% of the days in the year,
Sure.
And there's no reason that you couldn't. So once I came at it with that non-combative against the other side and more like protective of what I wanted with my kids, which was time to influence their lives as best I could.
Great approach. We can learn from that one right off the bat.
Right. And
combative situation's not going to help.
It does not. And, as I went through it, I talked to some dads that had gone through it before me. A lot of them had rough experiences. And a lot of them would tell me that they did things that, they probably shouldn't have done, which didn't help their cause. So all along the way, I had advice to pick and choose from. And my choice was to only not say, are they yours or are they mine? They are ours. And that's the main thing. So that aside, once I got that time, I decided that now I have to get 7 days of raising these kids into 3.5.
Right.
And so that's kind of where you might get the idea of me being a super dad, but really it's just that I have a compacted amount of time with them. So I just put so much into that.
Well, let me interrupt you there. So I see what you're saying, right? You have to compact 100% of the time with your kids down into 50% of the time. So you're action packing the days. Let me tell you something. I know plenty of dads that have their kids 100% of the time and aren't doing a fraction of the stuff that you're doing with your kids. And this is, by the way, this is no judgment on anybody. We're all trying to do what we can do best that fits our lives. And I'm most impressed with the things that you do with your kids. They all have an educational component. They all have a life lesson to them. They all have a certain a maturity level that you're almost, I mean, your kids now, what, 10, 8, and 5, right?
Correct. Yeah.
They're
still very young.
But the maturity level is so far advanced because of the way that you treat them like adults and you bring them into adult worlds and you teach them how a child can interact with an adult world. That's really what I'm so impressed with.
That is actually a hybrid of what you get from the world today. And when you talk about bringing your children into the real world, my father was very much like that. In the late 70s and early 80s, the real world was very different.
Sure.
But the fact that he was never afraid to expose me to what was really going on and what was really important to him is really where I got it. And then now we add everything around you as educational or developmental. So those two things combined.
It's fantastic. Yeah, I think probably the first item that caught my attention of all the things you've been doing with the kids over the years, it was a while back. You had an RV and you guys went out camping. And this is something that I always thought about doing. I mean, we both have the Marine Corps background. I'm sure I'd be able to survive out there, certainly in a campground with an RV. How was that? How was that experience? What made you decide to do that? And what'd you do with that? Tell me how that looked.
So with the limited time, a lot of things that you might do conventionally with your kids, like sports leagues or chess clubs, stuff like that. Sometimes there's 2 practices a week and a game on the weekends. So we weren't able to necessarily do those types of things. We eventually found a basketball league and a soccer league that works for our schedule. But in the beginning, I didn't have those things to lean on. And the one thing, again, that my father did with me and that I loved, and, you know, we had plenty of experience with in training in the Marine Corps, was being outside. And it's something I really liked. So I decided that that was kind of be my staple. That would be the thing that I would pass on to my children as best I could. My love for the outdoors, and they have a natural curiosity. So my kids make it pretty easy.
So, but tell me how, like, so when you went out there the first time, so do you teach them?
First time we went intense.
Oh, you went intense before?
First
All
time
right.
we went,
So
first time we went intense.
Yeah. And then it's like you teach them how to make fire, you gather sticks. What other kinds of activities did you do?
The first things they loved to do, obviously, was foraging for the sticks. Like they would, if you didn't stop them, they'd clear out the whole forest, you know. And anytime we saw an insect,
the whole forest,
they just keep going. Anytime we saw an insect, you know, obviously mosquitoes, they don't really count, but you know, if we came across a spider or a salamander or a squirrel, you know, we'd take time, like really stop and take, you know, 20 minutes, talk about the squirrel. I mean, it seems awesome. A little remedial, but you also have to fill time, you know. So you know, I didn't do screen time for my kids for a long time. Now we do because of this. But when you make a decision to not do video games, you have to fill their time. You can't just say don't do video games and then now go figure it out. You know, you gotta talk about squirrels and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool. So you're up in the woods. I would love to have heard some of those conversations, because you're in the woods. You're not a very screen focused family. It's not like you're like Googling what is that thing? What's a salamander? You're just, I imagine, were you just making some shit up as you went along?
Well, luckily we didn't go, you know, cliffhanging anywhere. We stayed at fairly convenient campgrounds when they were real young.
Okay.
So most of the stuff, and I'm always made it a point, by the way, to stay in New York State. Okay. We camp in New York State. We got my RV in New York State. Especially when you get up into the counties up where I was, Schoharie County and such, like you appreciate our state a lot. There's a lot of great things about it, and I just feel like those people up there, if we're going to spend money from the city, we should spend it in our own state and support the rural areas.
No doubt. Thanks on that, Carl. Let me say a couple more hellos. Who else is in now? So Andrew Morgan's there. David Batan's out there. Jamie Green's out there. Jamie's saying she loves camping. Has two teenage boys now. Jamie loves camping, fishing, hiking, cooking. She's a real outdoors girl. I know her sons usually enjoy sleepaway summer camp in the woods. I don't think that's happening this year. So hopefully, Jamie, you'll get the boys out there and do some camping. Rich Ramirez is out there. Brian O'Toole's out there, the Sergeant Major in New York. Love you, brother. Glad you tuned in. Rich rocking over. You know what? Something else caught my eye recently, Carl, and it's just another one of those moments where I was like, man, it seems like such an awesome thing. And then we chatted about it, and I was like, that was a simple thing to do for and with your kids and teach them something, and not a lot of people thought about it. So I want you to teach my audience, because I think everybody could use this. From what I understand, the Amazon River lives in your living room. Talk to me about that.
All right, to an extent. So, so again, I try to fill as much time and as I can with them. So every little thing that we're doing, I try to explore. So I had a fish tank in my office at work. My kids would come to my office. So you know what happens? They want a fish tank, right? And I was totally into it because I had gotten this one right, and now I was ready to step up. So we got a big old 55-gallon fish tank, and we did a little research. You know, I try as best I can, and it's so hard. I know everybody deals with this, to downshift. So instead of because you want to come home, you want to fill the tank, you want to get the fish, and you want to sit there the first night, and you want to just look at it. But we didn't do that. We basically did a little research, what kind of fish we wanted. We ended up with angelfish, okay? But we wanted to have a community tank. So let's take it a step further. Where are angelfish from? Angelfish are from the Amazon River Basin. What other fish live in the Amazon River Basin? What other fish now, can you get in a store that is in the Amazon River Basin? And we found like 6 or 8 of them. And we put together the tank, and we looked at pictures of the Amazon River Basin, what it would look like, and we tried best to emulate it.
Man, this is awesome.
So the next thing, so it's basically just what you might do with your fish tank if you just take a little more time. And I know, and sometimes, like you said, I know every dad out there is doing their best. And so these are just tips that I'm just giving. If you have limited time, like some of us do, some of us have our kids all the time, but work a lot of hours, you know. So I just, anybody that ever asks me, I just say you got to put the time in, and you can't get, you got to be patient, and it's hard. I yell at my kids every day, by the way. I just want to make that clear.
No, listen, I didn't say anything about perfect dad, because we're all human dads when it comes down to it.
Right.
But I just, I really wanted you to teach us that, because tons and tons of people that I know have fish tanks. Right. I don't know if they went through that process, right? And going through that process, not only, you taught the kids on so many different levels.
Well,
and now,
even an example, when we do the water change, we siphon it. So they learn the gravity and the suction. There's just so many little things to point out that are going on in every little, every day, really.
That's awesome. And it's also, it's a responsibility thing, right? So, all 3 of your kids are, you don't even have tweens yet, 10 and under. So now it's a responsibility for this living ecosystem that's in your house, and they're responsible for it. They have to notice. I think one of your fish had babies or something, right? Something went on.
Well, it's turned into a bit of a rabbit hole. I now have I have 3 full-size fish tanks in my house, because
they're multiplying.
We added some swordtails into the angel tank, and I guess one of the ones we bought was pregnant.
Oh boy.
And so we ended up with babies, of which most of them got eaten, then we find the one little tiny fry, and we got to save it. So that's actually about almost an inch at this time. We got its own little tank. It's how
awesome.
It is.
Dad, if nobody stands up for the fry, who will?
Right. Exactly.
If not me, who? So there's another lesson in there. I'm gonna. I have a picture I want to show of us. So. Watch
I have
this
some
one.
good ones, Frank.
Well, no, we don't have any of those.
No, the good ones. When we, when our dress blues fit.
Well, check this one out, guys. So here we go.
Oh wow!
So here is.
That's the before and after.
Here is Carl and I, 1993, Iwakuni, Japan. We were both just young pups. I don't even know how young I was. I was probably 21 there, 21, 22 years old. We were just babies. And then here we were just this past November. Actually, this was Veterans Week, and Carl invited me out on Veterans Day. I was going to we were both going to the Salute to Service game, and Carl said, "Hey man, I'm going to be out there too. Come join my tailgate, meet all my buddies, and all that kind of stuff." And it was really just a fantastic day. It was great to see him, and great to know that you can have. The Marine Corps is so different. You can have brothers for life, and we've gone periods, 10, 15 years not talking to each other, and then it's like we pick up the phone, and all of a sudden it's as if we never left each other. So it's really amazing. If anybody out there has questions, we have just a few minutes left. Let's get any questions. Oh, Jamie's saying that they do have camp. Yay, fantastic! I know that they really love that. She's also saying that we look like 12-year-old little boys in that picture, and I think we do. And
we do.
I believe the local women thought that as well. Just saying. But, it's not that kind of show. Let's see who else we have out there. I don't see any questions on LinkedIn. And I don't have any questions on Facebook. We'll give them another minute. But, all right, so, here we are, brother. We're headed into, first day of summer solstice.
Well, actually, I was hoping to get a second just to remind everybody, if I could, with everything going on, the COVID and all of the divisiveness in the streets, I feel a little bit, and maybe it's just me, that other than the parents, that general society might be forgetting how well many of our children have done through this crazy, unprecedented thing. Mine have made me more proud, during this time. than anything they ever did when they went to class. And they're very good students. And for them to be able to keep it up, I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. Like, make this a summer for them, man. Do your best. Make them feel super special for what they've gone through and how they've handled it. And it's been difficult for them and us. And I'm just super proud of all the children that have dealt with this schooling stuff. So
I love that, man. I'm glad you said that, because you know what? That's absolutely unequivocally correct. Children of all ages, and adults of all ages too, by the way, have just been through an unprecedented 96 days and counting. And, depending on where you are in the country, you're either on the front end, back end, or middle of this with us. We're all on different timetables. I am overwhelmed with how well my children have adapted to this. A little underwhelmed on how my wife and I have adapted to this. I think we had more of a challenge with this being together all day, every day, than the kids did. But yeah, I'm really glad you said that. The kids, they deserve everything we could possibly do for them right now, because they've just been through, I don't want to say it was traumatic, but it was definitely a depressing time. It's going to leave a mark on them.
2020, just the fact that they've been in the house, and then you can't really escape all of the coverage of what else might be going on. I'm sure we all know what I'm alluding to. Just being able to handle that and the schooling is really to me where they've been just dynamite,
Yep, absolutely. Jamie Green is asking if you have a favorite New York campsite that you'll share.
Well, very close is a place in Saugerties called Rip Van Winkle. And especially if you have young kids, it's outstanding. The sites are clean. They have cabins if you like that. We do that once in a while. And they have decent hiking. They have both natural creek swimming and a pool. And as much as we like to think we rough it, we hit the pool. So that's a really good place. Rip Van Winkle campsites in Saugerties. Highly recommend.
Awesome. By the way, so you're getting a ton of the ding, 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 all the thumbs up on speaking out and being proud of the kids. So yeah, glad you mentioned that. JR's out there. So JR's a Marine Corps brother, and he's asking, he's saying how hard it is, for people to find time to spend with the kids when you're competing with other obligations like work. Do you have any techniques on this? He struggles with this, and anything that you can help him with here on time management to focus on the kids. Maybe it's in the preparation phase. What do you think?
It could. I mean, I'm not sure what his schedule is, but sometimes if I'm super busy and I get that way and I'm not able to do much, I make it a point to, after dinner, take a walk. Literally, it seems it's a lot of times they'll fight if I take a walk around the block. But as soon as you start walking down the block, you start talking, they'll run, and you maybe see a neighbor. And so I'm not sure how big you want to go, but 20 minutes is a long time. And that's what I work in television. And so 2 minutes to me is a lifetime. I know how much I can do in 2 minutes during a commercial break. Right. So I bring that aspect to, we only have an hour. Do we really want to get the bikes out? Damn right we do. Damn right we do. Get the bikes out and go.
So it's not necessarily in how to make more time, right? We all have the same amount of time. It's planning and focusing on the actual time you have. If it's a 20-minute walk, fantastic. If it's an hour, let's bust out the bikes and go. So yeah, great advice there.
It sounds cheesy, but even busting out an Uno deck, it really is. They do react. I don't know how old your kids are. If they're younger, bust out an Uno deck. You'd be surprised how it just becomes a thing.
Jamie's mentioning one of my favorite techniques, the car ride. She calls it the ultimate conversation capsule. Absolutely. And I just had this experience this past week with my daughter, with Ava. Had her in the car for a few minutes, and we just started chatting one-on-one, and it was stuff that we hadn't really chatted about before, and it was really it was a great and a safe place for her to just talk to Dad. It was pretty fantastic. I think I benefited from it way more than she did.
Sure.
JR saying thanks for the great advice. Appreciate you, brother. Glad we did that. You know what, Carl? You mentioned it, and we're a little bit over, but that's okay. People are still tuned in, so I'm good.
Sure.
You mentioned that you're in television, so I know you've been doing this a long time. So you are right now. You are the prop master at the Ed Sullivan Theater. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm basically run the props for this Late Show with Stephen Colbert, but I'm attached to CBS.
So they've recently
I'll be
moved.
there.
They've moved the morning show into your studio, then, right?
Well, they like to showcase the theater, you know,
Okay.
with all the history. So when it's empty, they try to fill it. And the broadcast center at CBS got closed down with a COVID outbreak.
Right.
And so they moved the Saturday morning CBS show, basically just plopped a desk on my stage and went to town. So
I saw that. So you posted an aerial photo recently that it was like, it's the Colbert Show. No, it's not. It's
right.
Saturday morning.
The mashup,
like
I call it.
It was a mashup. Fantastic. You know what? It's something that we learned to do. Geez, more years than I want to say right now. 25 years ago, maybe more. For me, almost 30 years ago, we learned how to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And if you haven't seen any of my Tip Tuesday video series, just search YouTube, search Frank Morizio. You'll find that the Tip Tuesday playlist, Improvise, Adapt, Overcome, is definitely one of my episodes. You'll find motivation there. You'll find life hacks. You'll find business tips. And most importantly, at least I believe most importantly, you'll find the first 11 of 13 morizio-isms. So go check that out. Improvise, Adapt, and Overcome. Definitely one of the things that have been ingrained on us.
Hey, Frank, I got one more tip real quick. You
Please.
mentioned the car ride with your kids.
Yep.
I have a rule in my car, daddy's music. It sounds.
I get overruled.
No, I do it, and guess what? They know dad's music. We talk about it, and it's the only place that they have to listen to dad's music. It sounds like a crazy rule, but we listen to dad's music, and they got to ask about it. Who's this? What is this? And then that's another great conversation starter.
You know, I now that you say that, I do that from time to time. There's a couple of songs that I've definitely forced onto my kids and told them the backstory on them. I bet you can guess which ones they are.
Sure.
One of them is definitely The Rising Sun. The name is
the House
escaping.
in New Orleans.
House of the Rising Sun.
Yeah.
We knew that when we were stationed together in Iwakuni, Japan. There was this one particular bar in the Ginza district that was owned by a retired Marine. He just stayed in Iwakuni, got married, and opened an awesome bar, Terry's Place. And when you're a newbie, like, you really don't know what goes on there. But when you were old salts like us and you'd been around for a while, you knew that there's no closing time in Japan. But when Terry just had it for the night, House of the Rising Sun, that song comes on, and as soon as you started to hear there is a house, you knew you better run to the bar, get your last drink, because they were about to literally sweep you out into the street. And if you got swept out empty-handed, you had no drink for the walk home.
That was it.
So that's one of them I've definitely told. Let's see. Oh, JR is saying that when talking about your studio mashup, I'm going to sit up for a second. He's saying our shirts are a mashup because we have New York Marines. Total subliminal
actually,
message.
this is the veteran, Memorial Day Yankees. Got the camouflage.
Oh,
going
I do
on
see
in
it.
there.
Yeah, that's the salute to service Yankees.
Yeah,
I mean,
correct.
Carl and I are both, staunch Yankee fans, and of course New York football Giant fans, as you saw before. Both terribly disappointed that I don't think we're going to see baseball at all this year, and I'm having some serious doubts about the NFL. Brian Downs is saying dad's music is best. Of course it is. Jamie's kids know all the great rock bands. Yeah, Jamie. I mean, you pretty much followed the Grateful Dead around, from what I understand. So I imagine that's part of your culture.
You got to let them give you a song you like once in a while, so you can put it on Dad's playlist too. Obviously.
Okay, that's a good one.
Was that Miley Cyrus Party in the USA?
Oh no, we're not partying in the USA.
That's my jam right there.
I'd pay to see you go up high and sing that line.
It's a great 4th of July song.
Definitely a great 4th of July song. Who else we have out there? I'm having a ton of fun. I could talk to you all day, but I think I'm going to get ready to wrap soon. Brian Driscoll's out there.
Camping.
Brian's a past guest on the show. Brian, Oceanside Community Warriors, out there doing great volunteer things, cleaning up our town. Love you, brother. Appreciate all that stuff. Mark Bianchi's out there. Hey, Mark, which coast are you on? If you're still there, let me know. I know you had been going back and forth. Maria Ark is out there. Hey, Maria, happy birthday. Thanks for tuning in on your birthday. Barbara Berman's out there. Hey, Barbara's a healthcare worker. And, they were heroes up until a few weeks ago. They're still my heroes because they're out there, keeping us alive and keeping our communities healthy. So Barbara, thank you for all you're doing out there. To all the dads, Javier is stealing and Jamie, everybody's stealing my go away line. I'm not ready for that line yet. I'm going to get ready to wrap though. So a couple of things. First of all, brother, I love you. Thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait till we can see each other again in person. It's been a while since we've had a beer. I guess that was November, Veterans Day, Veterans Week. I'm really, like I said in the beginning, and like I'm going to say all the time, so impressed with the way that you've been parenting your kids. You're a fantastic example for dads everywhere. And I'm going to continue to embarrass you. I'm sorry. Get uncomfortable. Shift around in your seat. I just love it, and I envy you, and I aspire to be a little bit more like you. So I'm going to work on that. So you gave me a great gift today, the gift of change, and I'm going to start effectuating it because, as we all know, morizio-ism number one, doing something actually means doing something. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to take them. I'm going to change. For those of you guests tuning in, I really appreciate you. If you are in replay, please just throw replay in the comments so I know that you were there, and I appreciate you. This is it, folks. This was the final Saturday, 12 noon, Corona Chronicles. Where's Lockdown? It's on this side. Oh, actually, I got Carl over there, so it's over there. So this was the last Lockdown episode on Saturdays, now moving to Wednesday, 6 p.m., and it's going to be the Day 100 show. So the debut of Wednesday night will be on Day 100 and the debut of Phase 3. You're getting tons and tons of likes and loves and all that stuff, brother. Really glad that you came on. So I'm going to sign off.
Happy Father's Day.
I'm going to wish everybody a happy Father's Day. For those of you fortunate enough to still have fathers, give them a call, give them a hug, do whatever you can safely do. Let them know that they're appreciated. And I love all of you. And I'm going to leave us with a little promo of, if I could find it. Not easy to host and produce at the same time, brother. You know the struggles. So here we go. Join me on Wednesday night. And that's it. Signing off. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Happy Father's Day.